Jonty, you lost the toss. All right to bat first?
Yeah, happy to bat first. I think the grounds have taken a little bit of the live grass off it from Monday. Boys were in training yesterday, so happy to have a bat and hopefully it spins a bit later on, so it brings us into the game.
And looking forward to bouncing back from Monday?
Yeah, absolutely. There were some promising signs. Obviously our first 50 over hit out in a little while, so we knew it wasn't going to be perfect and we're just working towards getting ready for October when the big tournament is. So great to have a pull over. Hopefully a few more fans on the bank again today, which was great on Monday, and yeah, looking forward to a good day.
Thanks, Jonty. Have a great game, mate.
Cheers.
So the news from the toss is that Nepal have won the toss and they're going to have as you heard from the toss, Nepal have won it and they have elected to have a bowl bat. They're batting first, I think. So, very, very exciting stuff. And I'm Charlie Harden, and I'm joined alongside by former Q8 head coach, Kazim Ali.
Good morning, Charlie. How are we? Namaste to all the fans out in the South Asia, watching live, following their team Nepal, and welcome to everybody else who wants this transmission in English. My name's Kazim Ali. I'm happy to be here. It's a sunny day, and it's going to be a great day of cricket.
It certainly is, and just to confirm, as you can see, Nepal won the toss and elected to bowl. We've got Harrison Carline warming up there, just on the right of shot, and getting some throwdowns from head coach Neil McRae. So the first game then, the first of these two DFDS International Summer Series 1 dayers, well, it went Nepal's way. 81-run victory, a brilliant 100 from Kushal Patel, and wickets for Hemant Dami and Arif Sheikh as well. What did you gather from the first game, Kasim? And let's start with Nepal. What was so impressive about their performance which got them the win?
I think the key thing for Nepal, obviously, on the day was to try and get all three disciplines practiced as much as possible. Obviously, they've got the full allotted overs in terms of getting into the late 40 overs. They've batted really, really well. If anything, maybe the middle order could have chipped in a little bit more. Helped out from a fantastic 100 from Kushal. From a bowling perspective, well, the first 6 overs, they were fantastic. And if anything, probably an area to improve will be just trying to be a little bit more clinical towards the back end when they're 8 down and there's a massive partnership that comes on. Maybe they've just stepped off the pressure butter there, but in the field they were fantastic. So all three disciplines really impressive, and that's what you want from a touring game like this. It's great to see, and really impressed by the outfit.
And let's just expand on Kushal's ton. We'll get on to Jersey in a moment because there's a little bit of news around the squad, but Kushal Patel, what was so impressive?
He just looked like a man in control. His timing was fantastic. He was a bit slow early doors, but you know, that methodical approach to sort of batting 50 over cricket, that's fine. And then he just opened up. He looked really good in his back foot punches. Anything short, really sort of capitalised on. But more importantly, he really made some really good decisions, and that's the key thing. If there's anything from a coaching point of view for young cricketers here, it's making good decisions for long periods of time and just being patient. I keep harming on about being patient in 50 over cricket. The rewards will come the longer you stay at the wicket, and the easier it'll come to bat on them wickets, and that is a fantastic cricket wicket.
Yeah, it certainly is. And we've had a little chat with the groundsman, and there's a few less millimetres of grass left on it today. 6 mils on Monday and 4 mils today. I wonder if that's got anything to do with some brilliant bowling conditions in the latter part of the first one-dayer. Let's move on to the Jersey side. So Asa Tribe has flown over, however he's not up for selection today, so he's just part of the squad, bringing a bit of support. What would that, a player of his stature coming into your side, just being around the squad, how does that help the group?
Yeah, it's another fantastic voice. Somebody who's now broken into a bit of limelight, has played some quality cricket, has got some experience around the world now, also into franchise cricket as well. So he will bring a vast majority of experience with him, especially in the last 18 months. He's really taken a shine to a lot of people around the world, and you know, deservedly as well. He's put in the performances, and he's put some big hundreds on the scorecards as well. So his name has definitely been thrown around. But to be here, home country for him, with his fellow teammates that he's grown up with, yeah, absolutely. I think that's a massive impact for the day.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I had a brief little chat with him, met him for the first time out on the pitch before play. He gave me a couple insights about the pitch, about the millimetres left on it, and about how firm it is out there, which is so common here at Grainville. Brilliant pitch for batting. They collapsed pretty early doors, didn't they? They were 59 for 8 at one point in the first game. That's going to be a big point to improve on, isn't it?
Yeah, one area I'm sure the coaching staff and the players will want to improve. But again, you've got to give credit to the Nepalese bowlers. They've stuck at it. They've put the ball in the right places, and they were patient with the right lengths. Credit to the bowlers who started off and took them early wickets and put the pressure really back onto the home side. But again, from a batting perspective, this is a fantastic Jersey batting lineup. They've got some excellent cricketers who can really dominate inside the power play, and I'm pretty sure they'll want to come out today, show their true worth, and stick around for a little bit longer.
Well, talking about Jersey's brilliant batting, it was a 106-run stand for the 9th wicket between two men, Charlie Brennan and Daniel Birrell. How impressive was that as a fight back? And many just build a little bit on Charlie Brennan's knock of that around that 80 mark. How brilliant that was to see from a Jersey point of view. Yeah,
at one point it looked like 60 all out, but credit to the resilience shown, the determination and the grit inside that period. He looked a little bit nervous early doors, but actually for a 20-year-old to come out to maximise the opportunity and to bring his team back into the fold of trying to win a game. Because at one point we talked about complete innings over within before the sort of halfway point. But the way he held the innings, the way he batted, the way he strategically targeted the left arm spinner, played out Sandeep really well. I think he's a really good cricket talent.
Well, the umpires are out on the pitch. There's a photographer waiting for a few action shots of the Nepalese and Jersey players. Just before we move on to the start of the innings then, the one thing we haven't really picked up on, which we'll be seeing a bit later on in the game, is the Jersey bowlers. And there was a few great performers, mainly including the spin of Benjamin Ward and Nick Greenwood as well. Later on in the game, that could prove pretty important as well.
Yeah, second innings. Obviously, it will be important for the spinners to really help the seamers early doors. I think the seamers bowl really well. If anything, maybe it'll be a little bit tighter in the lines, be a little bit more clinical of hitting the fifth stump line, especially on this pitch where there's pace and bounce. So I'm really looking forward to this game. This is going to be a fantastic outfit in terms of Nepal now coming in early doors. This will be a good test for them. Overcast conditions, so how they come about, it'll be very different to the last game in terms of they're not going to pick up 4 or 5 wickets early doors, so they're going to have to really grind it out. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting hour.
It certainly is. There's the two opening batters for Jersey. We've got Harrison Carline on the right and Patrick Googe on the left. As we mentioned, Nepal were absolutely top class in their opening spell of bowling on Monday. Hemant Dami taking 4 wickets in that opening spell. He was 4 for 16 at one point, including an astonishing triple wicket maiden. So, your commentary team, Charlie Harden and Kasim Ali alongside. We're here at Grainville on a lovely day. A little bit more blue sky than we saw on Monday. Still a pretty dense coverage of cloud. We're hoping for brilliant weather throughout the day, as we always are. And just marking out his run, we've got one of the Nepalese opening bowlers, which we'll bring to you very, very shortly. But it's a lovely day here. We're all very excited here in the commentary box. And it's a chance now for the Jersey opening batters to give a bit of a fight back, isn't it, from what we saw last game. Harrison Carline gave his wicket away slightly with the cut shot, didn't he? And Patrick Googe, well, caught mid-wicket. They'll be looking to put a great comeback in today, won't they?
Yeah, absolutely, and they'll be looking to start strong. Obviously, they'll have the KPIs to do in the first 6 to 10 overs. They'll want to tick off areas that they can improve on. But again, it's going to come from both sides, and it's going to be relentless bowling from both sides. They're going to have Sampal Kami, who's going to be opening the bowling again from what we say is a clubhouse end, and I'm pretty sure with 2-3 slips in, he's going to be looking to extract some swing early doors and really challenge the outside of that bat.
Here we go then. First ball of the second of this International Summer Series with DFDS. Beats the bat first up. A brilliant start, a show of that relentlessness that we saw in the first game of this 2-match series. And Sunpal Kami doesn't miss the mark first up.
No, and that's exactly what you want to see. Your money a ball straight away. You want to see the guy hitting the best areas early doors. Great, beautiful rhythmic action. Energetic going into the crease. Big smile on his face after the first delivery. That's a beautiful delivery to start off.
A bit of a waist swing there from Sunpal Kami. Carline getting very, very low, and you can see his trigger taking him across his stumps and squatting down into the delivery. He looked good for his 20 in the first game. As we've mentioned, he'll be gutted. Well, he was gutted at the time. He was leaning over his back when he got caught out at deep point, and he felt like he was in there. But the problem was wickets were falling around him, and the pressure was building on the opener. Pretty good shapes early doors from Sunpal Kami.
Yeah, impressive 3 balls. Obviously, some swing in the air, which is fantastic sign for the bowler. It's exactly what you want to see. Like I said, he's bowling with great energy. He's putting the ball in the right area, really asking questions in the first 3 balls. The worst thing you can do, and again, good coaching points here for youngsters, is you can bowl wide of the stumps. You can give some early sighters to the batter and let them feel comfortable without putting any pressure on. You really want to be challenging the batter in terms of decision making early doors, really making him work for his runs.
It's a play and a miss outside the off stump. Harrison Carline looked to get bad on ball early doors in his innings, and we mentioned a few times on Monday about the breeze that comes across this ground. We've got 3 flags fluttering away from right to left as Sunpal Kami comes in. It'll be adding to his swing, and it makes it so important to pick the right bowlers from the right ends, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that was probably a little bit of a trick where Jersey fluttered around with early doors in their innings, and they just weren't sure on who to bring on which ends. But I think that Nepal did it really well.
Some more brilliant shapes there from Sunpal Kami, and we heard from John T. Jenner at the toss say that this comeback towards the 50 over game for Jersey. They've been out of it for a while, since last summer in 2025, so it's gaining some good experience, some good valuable experience, and those sort of tactics, those decisions of choosing which bowlers to bowl from which ends are just a little bit more crucial in the longer format. Yeah,
absolutely, and it's just having these little cues, these little clinical moments can make a big difference.
Pulled away convincingly, well over the ring, and Harrison Carline, we saw that from him on Monday, how he pounced on the short ball so quickly, thumped one into the ramp very early on in his innings last game, but that ends the first over 4 for none.
Yeah, impressive first over. I don't think he'll be quite too disappointed with the last delivery, although he went for a boundary, and you don't really want to be conceding one off the last ball. However, just a tad bit short, and equally dispatched for 4 runs. But overall, a good start. I think Nepal will be happy with that. Be interesting to see who takes the new ball from the opposite end. And we've got that man himself, Herman Dani. He's back in from his favourable end. Let's see if he can really cause the same pain as he did in the last innings.
Well, remember the in-swing he was getting with that wind. And he dismissed Patrick Googe for 6. Caught a mid-wicket in the 4th over. Left Jersey 22 for 1 at the time. It was caught by his fellow opening bowler today, Sunpal Kami, and Hemant Dami, who was in terrific form, taking that triple wicket made and looking to get this man twice in 3 days. The in-swing shown from Dami as he looks to pick up where he left off.
Yeah, good start, good length, early movement, good solid defence from Patrick Googe. Great to see, and that's what you want to see from your opening batter. You want to see him confident, back foot punch, middle of the bat. Great sound, good start.
Big gap at square leg if Dami over pitches. As he continues with that hard length. Proven success from that end. different challenge this for Nepal, bowling first. Batting first in the previous game, as they look to get on top of this with some early wickets.
Yeah, and I think a vital bit of experience as well as they build up towards the tournament coming up in the next week, where they face the Netherlands and Namibia.
Shades of the John C. Jenner dismissal there, leaving the in-swinger. So challenging when Dami's got the ability to swing it in with that much magnitude. He's also got the ball that just slides on as well, isn't he?
Yeah, and a slight difference of obviously a little bit shorter in length and a relatively newer ball, if you like. Obviously, two balls being used, one from each end. So the height of the bounce, good leave, good decision.
Punching off the back foot, they're going to go for a quick single. Little chance, there's going to be overthrows here in the large gap at square leg. It's in quick pursuit, but it's been jumping over the boundary for 4 more. So that, I believe, is going to be 5 runs. They got the single in the ring into the offside, but it was the man from Nepal who was Kushal Patel, the Centurion, who sent it over the boundary for 4 more.
It's not what you want to see from a fast bowler perspective when you've done all the hard work, you've gone out there, you've put a really good length in, and I think the fielder is Gulshan Jar, just short of sort of mid-wicket, who's not back up the right end. The throw came in from the 100 scorer Kushal, who's quick on the release, and I think given the 5 runs, the umpires are now just communicating that the non-striker has to be on strike now because of the 5 runs. Fantastic shot for 5.
I must say, camera operator Phil has picked up on that absolutely instantly, saying that because the single came before, it will be 5 runs, that they have to swap ends. Brilliant work from both you two. And so it will be Carline. That's a tricky one for the scorers, that. So we might see a little bit of a delay, but Carline facing his first ball to Dami. First real sign of a ball that doesn't quite pick up as much on this firm surface. Nepal team high on it. Bounce back from their early troubles in their batting innings. They sit 9 for none. Even though we've just had 12 balls or so at the minute, so 2 overs gone, 9 for none, it does feel like a little bit more of a cautious start. Last time it did look like a side who'd come from playing several T20s with a little bit less 50 over experience in the recent time. It looks like they've got a slightly different approach this time.
Yeah, cautious, very tactical approach, and a solid approach. You know, there's a lot of body and bat behind the deliveries, and great intent shown to hit front of the wicket, and that's a good sign from the sidelines. I think from the bowling unit, obviously they won't be happy with that overthrows, but overall bowled in the right areas. Yeah.
We've come so accustomed to this Nepal lineup honing in. As Gooch faces his first balls from the far end. It was Karen KC who opened the bowling last time out from this end. Sampal Kami getting the promotion. And he's bowled with good shape so far this morning. Yeah, good line and length this from Sampal Kami.
Yeah, excellent, and it just goes to show as well. He's gone change of field now. He's got obviously gone with 3 slips and a gully, and the field's moved round. He's taken out the man at mid wicket, and that's a sign that the ball is swinging. He's looking to work around the outside of that edge, and he's got his grippers in place. There's no third man, and there is a fine leg out, so very attacking field early doors.
Bumped on the pad, going down leg though, says the umpire. So it will be a leg bye. But yeah, it's this incredible accuracy from the Nepalese bowlers that allows them to be quite so attacking, and it's something that Jersey will look to learn from this bowling innings, which was with the opening bowlers. If they can just increase their accuracy just by a small amount, they can be a little bit more aggressive and keep the attacking fielders in for longer.
Yeah, absolutely. And if there's any little bit of critical observation, I would probably say early doors. I'd love my fast bowlers to be just a fraction tighter and target the 4th and 5th as opposed to 6th and 7th, just giving enough time and space for the bat even and leave well. But yeah, I mean, again, as Cammy's just come in there, that's probably the first sign from this side that the ball's just kept a little bit low compared to the other delivery. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of this new ball inside the power play plays out.
A good sign there for Jersey. Ball coming onto the bat nicely. You can hear it echo around the ground, especially off the bat of Carlisle. He really strikes the ball similar to what we saw from Bilateral with his 100 on Monday. Seems to be a real ball striker, Carlisle. Wouldn't be surprised if we see another ball thump away to the boundary with conviction. Oh, it's a play and a miss from Carlisle. He hops out of the shot. With that shadow back, just looking to get his head a little bit closer to the ball there.
It's always a great shot after the balls hit the keeper's gloves. And there was a sound of bat hitting the ground. And I think he'll be disappointed with that, the way he's committed into the shot, and obviously the ball swung away from the outside of the edge. Be interesting to see whether we can get Darnie to do the same from the opposite end as he comes in looking to bowl strong deliveries and strong lengths. Sets up from his run up.
Turned busily towards square leg by Googe. That feels to be the main scoring area against Dami. I think when he's going to get it wrong, whether it's over pitched or just a little bit shorter, on the leg stump line, there's a big gap from fine leg all the way to mid wicket where there's not a fielder in sight, and both these two batters will be looking to use that area when Dami gets it wrong.
Yeah, and I think it's also part of the tactical plan to go into the left hip, if you like, and then to shape one away into the slip cordon.
Edged, and it's down towards third man. The fielder is about 5 yards in, and there's the delivery you're just talking about. Almost setting up with a few in-swingers and then just having the one that holds its line outside the off stump, and the batter goes for a big flowing drive and doesn't get a hold of it.
Yeah, and it's quite clear to see that the one that's coming back into the left hip is slightly shorter. The one that's obviously going away slightly fuller, so he can bring the slips into play. But you're right, there is a massive gap on the leg side, and if anything, it's tough to get a massive away swing against a strong breezy wind that's coming across the pitch.
Nice shot from Goose, straight to cover, picked up by Bertel. And sometimes, do you think the danger ball is the one that does slightly swing in, but doesn't swing in as much because he does get a huge amount of in-swing with that wind. And when he does maybe try and hold the line, it might just still move in slightly. Is that a challenge when you see the variation of in-swing as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So you need subtle variation and you need subtle differences. You can see in the action, it's a predominant in-swing action. And you can see from the release point, yes, he does swing it a lot because of his action, helped by this strong breeze. But the one that doesn't swing or just holds its line up with the same action can be the one that's a difficult delivery to pick up, because the cues are the same, but the outcome is not the same. So it can be very, very difficult if you're not watching carefully.
It'd be good to get your thoughts in a moment of with Dami having the action of an in-swing bowler. How do we pick that up in terms of the action? That one goes through to keeper Asif. That's a little bit low.
So if you from a technical point, if you look at the release point, so the left side isn't as strong as much, so it kind of leaks a little bit more, and the delivery becomes more vertical with the wrist pointing probably more towards fine leg on the point of release.
Okay.
So as you can see from the action, he's almost up at 12 o'clock or a little bit further over, and the release point of the wrist is actually pointed towards fine leg, whereas the outswinger will probably go the wrist pointing the opposite way and the fingers right behind the ball.
Nicely timed past the diving fielder. Bimsharki couldn't quite get a hand on it, races away through point for 4, and a good show of timing early on from the Jersey batters, and it's 16 for none.
Fantastic cricket shot, just slightly back of the length, a little bit of width on offer, and he's really crashed into that diving past the backward point fielder there, and it just goes to show how good of a square this is as well. It's actually kicked off the square and actually got some pace on the delivery as it leaves past the fielder and races towards the boundary. So a really good cricket wicket and a good cricket square.
It's the sign of a great pitch when either you see a perfectly timed on drive where the ball just skips onto the bat, or just like that where you see a back foot punch go away with timing through the covers. Lovely shot from Dooge. Carlyon now on strike, new over. Just looks to stay a little bit low and maybe even jag in there from Sampal Kami. It feels like his main method of dismissal that Kami's going for is the 4 men waiting in the corner.
Yeah, absolutely, and so it should be on a day like this with this kind of situation, but with this responsibility up front. You know, he's well into bowling inside the power play, taking the new ball, and he should be looking to hit them lengths as often as possible.
Beautiful. Carlyon standing tall, whacking it away through the covers. Brilliant shot. Quite rare you see a cut shot go almost that straight. It's almost hit it through extra cover, beating mid-off on the left side. Really commanding shot from the Jersey opener. 20 for none.
Yeah, looked really in control. Really impressive shot. Back foot punch, like you say. A little bit of an unorthodox area to hit it into, but fantastic shot as it races away to the boundary. And they've got some work to do here, the Nepal guys. It's not as easy as the other night.
Well, Jersey batters will know they'll just want to continue batting time though. Because one area you could say as third slip does come out to bolster up the cover field, one thing you could say is they just maybe got slightly ahead of themselves on Monday. The Jersey batters got off to a decent start and then wickets started to tumble, so these still be looking to set a really solid platform this morning. Big swing. Almost a tiny little deviation off the edge there from Carline as he walks himself out towards square leg. Very passionate cricketer. He would have felt that was there to be hit if it wasn't for the extra bit of swing from the breeze. Good bowling from Cammy.
Yeah, great bowling, putting in the right area, especially after leaking a boundary. Good comeback. And I don't mind this from Harrison at all. If that's in his area and he's quite positive to hit that, I don't mind showing that intent.
Very interesting how, just from an observer's perspective, sometimes the ball is coming onto the bat absolutely beautifully, and then sometimes we get hints of the latter period of the game on Monday where it is a little bit too paced, a little bit tricky to time. Are you getting that too, or is this just a batter trying to get into his innings?
No, it's quite evident. You can see that. And sometimes there's a number of factors that you can look at. It's probably a hard area of the pitch where there might not be as much grass, or whether it's quite bare. The other parts of that could be where the ball is actually hitting the leather as opposed to the seam. So, you know, there's different impacts that you can get off the pitch. But it also depends on the trajectory of the bowler. You look at Sompal Kami compared to some of the Jersey boys, there's different trajectory coming as well. So early doors, you know, there's different challenges. Kami's more of a skiddy bowler, whereas if you look at Dami from the other end, who's not too dissimilar in height, but seems to get a little bit more bounce. But obviously both of them, two bowlers, are nothing compared to the Jersey frontline bowlers, who are a lot taller in stature, deliver from a different height. The trajectory is different, the bounce is different. So, you know, you pose different challenges to batters.
Well, Dami definitely posed a huge challenge to the Jersey top order the other day. Here he is now. Googe prods at one and gets a single down towards third man. Very intent cricketer is Googe. Sign of a batsman looking for runs with a play down towards third man for good delivery from Dami. And now Carline, who seems to be a little bit more authoritative with the bat. Beautiful delivery. Almost unplayable when Dami is bowling with such skill with the in-swingers and then able to pull out a delivery like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Sign of a really, really good bowler. Lots of experience behind him, and got a real good skill set as well. Just squaring up Harrison there. But again, asking the right questions. You know, being relentless with his line that he's bowling. Asking questions about the outside of the bat.
When the in-swinger just gets it wrong onto the hips and can whip it away for a nice and easy single.
Yeah, and that often the danger is when you've done all the hard work and you release one that's just gone leaking down leg side. It's not a great sign for a bowler, but unfortunately, you know, they're the fine margins that you're playing with at this level.
Just got a bit of coffee in my throat there, Kaz.
It's the fastest I've seen you move all day.
Not even when I was going to get your cup of tea for you.
No,
That
was
pretty
slow.
quick then.
Yeah.
Ah. Yeah, both these two opening batters, when they're dismissed Monday. Judging by their reaction, they knew what was on offer. A great opportunity against a top quality side to show you can do it at the best. And Guj already looks more confident batter. Just by the way he's transferring his way into his shot, just as we saw there in the practice shot he made.
Yeah, and a subtle difference there. If again, from my perspective, you've got him out playing the short ball on the last game. It wasn't a convincing shot. It went straight to sort of short mid-wicket. Not really seeing the ball short enough to challenge him again. Because if you've got out with that delivery, I'd probably look to try and set him up again with that delivery and test it again, see if the pattern is there.
There's a beautiful shot. Away through square leg. That's the gap we've mentioned already today. And it's almost a carbon copy of his boundary from Monday. But yeah, you're right. We saw Dammy. He's got a sneaky bouncer, doesn't he? And I wonder if that is almost part of the tactic, just to let Patrick Guj almost get comfortable on the front foot, and then that bouncer is more of a target ball than a real ploy when they're building them up consecutively. That's the end of the over at 26 for none.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're spot on there. You know, from a bowling perspective, and again, good tips for youngsters who are coming through. Try and set your bowler up with at least 2-3 deliveries. You know, try and get them in the right false sense of security in terms of what they're trying to do, and then set them up with a surprise package.
Now this is very, very interesting. We saw a bit of him in the first game. Lalit Rajbanshi is looking to make his mark with a bit of spin in the power play. Interesting call.
Early doors, very interesting, especially when the ball's still swinging around.
Yeah.
And he wasn't the first choice spinner to come on. Obviously, with Sandeep being off the pitch, and Dipendra as well, Singh Aries also off the pitch, the off spinner, they've turned to the left arm spin inside the power play.
Well, we'll see if it works, because there's always that potential that ball can just skid on. And this seems to be the angle, doesn't it? With left arm round to the right-hander. With the new ball, which can sometimes slide on, as I just mentioned, it really brings the pads and the stumps into play. And the reason why there's a slip-in is because the spin away from the bat can, if Lalit can get a little bit of grip, it brings multiple dismissals into play. And a bit of early intent from Carline earns him a single.
Yeah, two things from me. From a bowling perspective, you want to see if you can extract some spin early doors. Very difficult, but it is a used pitch, so the potential could be a little bit turned to find the right pace and the right bounce in the right area. From a batting point of view, is not to let them get on top, so you're going to have to use your feet. You're going to have to manipulate the gaps and use the power play element in it, because there's plenty of gaps over the top.
It's almost feels a bit of a tempter. You know, spin is on with only the two fielders out, as the restrictions ask for. Although I think you might have to help me out here, Kaz. I think I just see the one fielder out in the deep. Yes, out at deep square leg and long off. We've got our two deep men. Blending in with the crowd out there. There's a bit of grip then, taking the shoulder of the bat from Guj. It feels a good play, doesn't it, until these two start to get accustomed to it. So I wonder if it might be a slightly shorter spell.
Yeah, and often captains might do that. They might go for 3 or 4 overs just to see if they can potentially extract some spin early doors, maybe just change the momentum of the batters, especially if they're getting accustomed to the seam a lot more on the pace of the wicket. Again, I do say it's a used wicket, and he started off really well there, Lalit. He's gone for the one. He's bowled some good areas, good pace. If anything, I'd probably just like, personally, I'd probably say just go a little bit quicker into the wicket. The flight to delivery might not be as effective, but interesting to see.
End of the over then, 27 for none. And there's our early signs of the Nepal fans in. There you go. They've got the memo. They're on camera, giving us a nice wave. They'll be giving their side plenty of support. So we've got the opening bowler from last game, Karen KC, flying alongside Malik Rajbanshi for this first change. What sort of problems did Karen bring in the first game, Kaz?
So quite similar to Dani from that end, relentless in terms of line and length. He'll obviously hit the splice of the bat hard. I would expect him.
Drive on the up. Glorious shot from Carline. Brings plenty of appreciation from his teammates. And Karen starts with the full delivery. It's been put away.
I was just about to say I expect him to get into his stride quite quickly, but that's a loose half volley outside off stump, hit through the extra cover region, and that was definitely, that looked very stiff and very slow.
I thought you were going to say I was about to say that he might just lob up a wide half volley first ball. There he is, though. If only that was the first delivery.
Yeah, he's a Valley cricketer. He's obviously got a lot of experience. He's been around the circuit for a long time. He's quite an experienced fast bowler for Nepal's perspective, and he'll be crucial to their campaign going forward in the next couple of weeks. So I think what Nepal are trying to do early doors is to change the bowlers often as possible, 3-4 over spells, just to see different bowlers in different stages of the game as well, which is great to see.
So you reckon the Rajbanshi decision to bring him on is just to almost test him out with a newer ball? Is that a ploy?
Yeah, often on games like this, from a coaching perspective, I would probably try and throw different elements in there that might come up in the next tournament, where you potentially could be giving them time in the middle, but practice opportunities with a new ball. Might not be often that he does bowl with a new ball, so yeah, cover all bases, I would say.
Getting attacked by a fly there, Kaz.
It's a skill and an art.
Launched away by Carline. Dropped short from Karen KC. And he's yet to quite get his radar sorted in his first over. And what we've seen from Carline is just how quick he is at pouncing on the short delivery. And he's been put away for 4, Karen. 35 for none.
Yeah, it didn't look like there was a lot of pace behind that. He's capitalised on the length, Harrison, very, very quickly into the vacant mid-wicket area, helped on by the breeze.
Just the 2 slips in. Karen KC hits the mark once more.
Just on early observation, we're talking about trying to get the bowlers on from the right ends as often as possible. With the 2 right-handers in and the breeze going across the ground, I would probably like to see the left-arm spinner coming from the other end and the right-arm seamer from this end extracting the swing, because it looks like he's been really challenged with this strong breeze coming.
A little bit of low bounce, scuttles through. No, I think you're absolutely right there, Kaz. And especially with the extra drift you can get on the ball with the wind, that they almost can then add on to the slide, because when you're facing a left arm off spinner as a right hander, you're expecting the ball to move away with grip. And when the drift comes into play more, it almost over accentuates the one that slides on.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's probably the first time that they might have got the bowlers on from the wrong end in the 2 games. However, they might know something that we don't know.
I'm sure that's not the case.
The A-team.
Yeah, indeed. Googe then on strike. On 15, Harrison, they've set a good, solid stall out so far, these two. Rajbanshi looking to turn the new ball. Just 8 overs in, 35 for none. And evidence of the ball just sliding through. Just after this ball, Kaz, it'd be great to hear your thoughts from a spin bowling point of view. When both the variation of the ball sliding and gripping come into play, how much of an effect can the bowler have on that? Or is it simply you run up and bowl the same every time and it's the natural variation from the ball and the pitch?
I think he can be very effective. A slight change in the grip, a slight angle change, from hitting in the crease, a release in, a difference in the slight trajectory, so the release on where you're coming from, the pace that you're putting on. There's lots of different variations spinners can bowl, and one thing that I encourage as somebody who's worked with some quality spinners before, both at county level and international level, is to really work on all these repertoires as much as possible, because they're the tools that are going to help you, figure out.
Slap down the ground. It's going to be a chase on. I just had to stop it with my foot. It's a brilliant shot there from Harrison. Bit of footwork. Is that village from me? Probably should have got down and done a good bit of fielding, right?
The brown Swedes have put the plunk out and helped the fielder. Very good for you, that, Charlie.
I think I've taken a bit of shine off the ball there.
Have you just disturbed the regulations of the cricket ball?
Let's get the briefcase of balls out then. Brilliant shot though from Harrison. Lalit drops it short. And think about a single on the fumble. I think it's a good throw there. I think the one thing for me is when a spinner comes on in the power play, if you get hit down the ground for a shot like that, I don't think the spinner will mind it too much, because he's hit a decent area and it's pretty good batting from Harrison. However, the next delivery, which was dropped short, especially the fielding side as a whole, will want to see as few of those as possible. That seems to be the perfect length though. It just draws the inside edge. Good comeback there from Lalit.
So early doors, again, one of my previous bowlers in Kuwait, Yasin Patel, was fantastic at this. Left arm spinner coming in with a brand new ball, targeting the stump. So the plan was to target the pads as often as possible. If he gets hit down the ground, not a problem. He's got his fielders out, that's okay. But he's coming in, and his repertoire was fantastic. He'd go arm ball, he'd go seam up. He'd try and show one that he's going to spin. But that, from a batting point of view, you just need to see some cues. And often if the cues are not there as much, there's confusion in play. So you try and target the stumps as much as possible, but the length is key, especially with a new ball. So if you can get that drift coming back into the pads, and you can end up, affecting the LBW, or you can get a stumping from a ball that just carries its line through. That's what you really want to be looking at early doors.
Well, this is an interesting play. Now, they're only allowed 2 fielders out here in Nepal. At the minute, there's 3. There is a man almost at deep mid-wicket, just walking towards the flags out there. Deep square leg comes inside the ring. And then Nandan Yadav heads out to fine leg. Looks like deep mid-wicket's actually coming quite a bit squarer, just on the right shoulder of the man inside the ring. Karen KC bowls just back of a length as the first cheer comes from the Nepalese fans. What's the tactic here? Deep mid-wicket's actually moving further round now, almost to a deep square leg. Short ball ploy, perhaps?
I don't know, he hasn't stopped walking. That's what's confusing me. I don't know whether he's the man gone off the pitch or he's been substituted out. I'm not sure. But it seems like he's off the pitch, actually. And he would have been in the right area to take that catch at the start of this over.
Well, that looks to be trickling away for 4. Another good shot from Googe. Remember, that's how we saw him get out in the first game. But we can confirm that the man who went out to deep mid-wicket was indeed getting subbed off. And it's third man who's out on the boundary along with fine leg. So back to a very orthodox field here for Karen KC. They did just drop it short and pulled away nicely there by Patrick Googe.
Yeah, it's the first sign of the pull shot that's come out. Again, you know, the test for me needs to be a little bit more clinical, a little bit more pace. See if you can get up sort of helmet high, skid it on a little bit more. See if they affect the timing belt in terms of coming off the bat.
Patrick Googe drops his bat as he goes out for a quick single. He's still looking for a second run. That is brilliant from the young man. Brilliant show of intent. He's still looking to get back for a second run. Good solid murmur from the hospitality marquee just outside the boundary bar. You'll see it in a moment here at Grainville. A few more fans than on Monday, perhaps expecting a slightly better weather forecast. There you can see it's at the top right of your screen. Good gathering of Jersey supporters.
Yeah, fantastic credit to Jersey Cricket. They've put on a real show here. It's great to see hospitality here, and most importantly, it's great to see people coming out to support their home team. Great opposition on in this series here, where we will also be seeing the UAE coming a little bit later this month.
Yeah, those three flags tell you that story. Nepal, Jersey and UAE flags fluttering away. As Carline looks to just slightly get squared up as he pats that one back to the bowler. It's something you picked up on last game, isn't it? How Carline looks so solid in defence, but sometimes he can just be beaten on the outside edge and can square up slightly more than other batters. But I think what Carline is so good at is the ball striking and picking up on length early. And he's been one of the pick of the Jersey batters, I'd say, over the series so far.
Yeah, and a strong batter for Jersey. I've seen him in a number of tournaments now, and he's always contributed to the side. And he's been strong in trying to get intent into the power play.
Yeah, well, he bats with some incredible power, especially in the T20 format, coming off the back of an 84 of 42 balls against Croatia. That was in the final group game of their sub-regional T20 World Cup qualifiers. That was also on a day where the entire top four all got half centuries. Googe also made 58 off 29 in that game. That was not the previous game, but the game before here for Jersey. Seems to be friendly with all the players here, Kazim.
I've seen him around a few times. Yeah, a gentle hello wave doesn't go amiss.
Just a polite man. Bim Sharkey has just come out towards long on, just in front of us. So that is the end of the power play, everybody. 45 for none. Jersey will be very, very happy with this start. And Googe getting underway early to his third over from Lalit Rajbanshi. Big appeal. It's a reverse sweep. Looks to have got Googe outside the line of off stump. Not a bad play when we've got this angle from left arm round the wicket.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. He's looking to be creative and inventive out there, really putting the pressure back on to the bowler. As you can see, the fielders have spread out, so there's a few more gaps to play with.
It's a nice whip of the wrist there through square leg as Googe gets to the non-striker's end. As a power play goes, Jersey will be very happy with this, won't they?
Yeah, very content. I think that's a really good start, solid start from if you're making constant, comparisons in terms of what we've seen in the first game. But overall, new day, fresh challenge 46 after 10 overs for no wickets lost, which is really important.
Just building on that reverse sweep from Googe we saw a moment ago, there is a gap down there. Short third man is slightly wide, and what you'll see from him is Googe just trying to get that front pad well outside the line of off stump so that the umpire can't possibly give him LBW.
The slight challenge you have is that that's the best fielder on the pitch.
It's not your man Array, is it?
It is indeed. So he's known around the world for his fielding credentials. Obviously a great batter, great all-rounder, great bowler, but his fielding is absolutely fantastic.
Carline plays it with caution as that ends the over. A good one too. He has been very impressive so far this morning. We queried slightly the fact that he was brought on so early in the game, but he's been very impressive. His 3 overs have gone just for 7 runs and very, very rarely giving the Jersey opening batters a ball to hit. 46 for none.
Good solid start. 11 overs gone, 46 for none. Good solid start from both teams, I reckon. I think they've both come out with different plans. They're trying, obviously Nepal trying to get through different bowlers in different stages of the game to see whether they spin early doors. Good solid start from the Jersey guys, as we can see the scorecard there. Harrison 23 not out from the 37 balls, looks solid so far, capitalised on anything short. Patrick Googe, who's equally supported him from the opposite end, 22 from the 29 deliveries, has looked in good spirits today as he sets up to face Karen KC, who's bowled his 2 overs.
Nice shot from Googe. Will yield no run though. And Karen KC, who we were pretty impressed with in the first game, he had the unenviable task of holding up an end whilst Hemant Dami had all the success from the far end with the new ball spell on Monday.
Do you think this is the reason why he's come up from the other end?
Wanted a taste of the action. Swinging in there at the pads, bringing the stumps into play, but Googe in his busy style scampers up to the non-striker's end for a single. So very good opening partnership, just 3 away from that 50 mark now. And what I've been so impressed with is there's been far fewer searching shots. On Monday we saw players search for boundaries at times. That one scuttles and moves away as well. Good take behind the wickets. Looks like there's a little bit of varying of bounce and pace on this deck, and the 2 batters are playing it well so far.
Yeah, they're riding it out at the moment, and that's not what you want to see from a batting perspective. 2 pace, two different sort of bounces coming on. Obviously, from a bowling point of view, you know, it's a good sign, and you want to keep that as straight as possible. But yeah, I got to agree with you. Jersey have done fantastic. They've really homed in on their skills this morning. The 2 batters have made some excellent decisions, good cricketing decisions, and they've been really clinical.
Carline gives a rash shot as Yadav steams in from fine leg. They get back for a second run. The opening pair. Potentially a little bit of frustration, or is this just Carline trying to remain positive and look for almost to get the pressure back on the bowler?
I think you might have heard me on commentary. No, I think it could be a double ploy. You're right. It could be a little bit of frustration there. Maybe the ball before's playing up on the mind, which potentially could be from a batting perspective, but not a bad ploy to run down the ground and see if you can hit it over mid-off.
Just bringing the outside edge of Carline's bat. That's what Karen KC can bring. As the 50 partnership is up for these two. It's been a solid start to this game.
It has, and I'm sure the management team are ticking the box for the first 50 years. Definitely come to Jersey. I think that's a really solid start, and they've looked good. They've tried to put the ballers off the line and lengths. They've been very clinical in their decisions, when to play, when not to play, and they've capitalised on anything that's short and wide.
There's a short and wide ball. It's been put away. With brilliant style from Patrick Googe. Picked up on it so early and skipped it away to the boundary.
Impressive cricket shot, and you know, swiveled on it, helped it along its way to fine leg, but with some real intent. Interesting question here to Nepal now. They've got to find a way on how they're going to break this little partnership that's coming along. The danger is you let these two batters settle in really well, that they go on and kick on and get a big score, which sets a platform up before the halfway point. So you're going to have to find a wicket somewhere.
It's important to remember, as you mentioned, that despite this being almost a bit of a warm-up for Nepal for their fixtures to come, actually it's an incredibly important game for them, and one they'd want to win. And Jersey is as being seen as the underdogs coming into this one. They'll be looking to show up Nepal and get a good win here on home soil. But Gulshan Jar's going to come on to the bowling. Enough spin now from the pavilion end, and a good spell from Lalit Rajbanshi comes to an end. What do you know about Gulshan Jar?
Good quality cricketer, good all-rounder, fierce batter, but he can do a job with the ball as well. And I'm sure he's another one of the seamers who's going to be looking to attack the stumps, cause a little bit of trouble with the variation. Looks a strong cricketer.
Well, let's see what he can offer. He pulls out of that delivery, just honing in his run-up.
Not that strong.
He's just building it up, Kaz. He's just building up the tension. He knows what he's doing. Carline's got a little bit more time to think about this first delivery.
Did get a big gush of wind coming through as he was just about to go past the umpire, so maybe that's just put him off his rhythm as he's about to attack the crease.
He'll have to get used to it. Big breeze coming across the ground. And he starts well, and Carline plays him equally well down towards third man. And that's a shot I like to see. That's a shot I've been impressed with from the Jersey batters. And whilst Nepal was so good at building up that pressure, you know, joining the dots in the first game, actually Nepal haven't bowled much worse, but it's bowls like that which are on a good length, and Jersey have been able to manipulate them for singles.
Yeah, you want to keep ticking over the scoreboard no matter how it comes, but you want to be in control of that as well. And there is a big gap between sort of backward point and the keeper. There's no slip in play, there's no gully in play. So with a seamer ball in sort of good lengths outside off stump, almost your fifth and sixth stump, it's not a bad ploy to run it down to third man, get off strike. So it'll be interesting to see how that happens.
A sign there of Googe really going after a wide one, going out with hard hands, almost because, as you mentioned, because of that lack of slip, gully, a catcher in the third man area. Yes, there's a man out on the boundary, but it allows the batter to really throw the hands hard at it, and he'd be unlucky to get caught behind of a fine edge, going at it with hard hands. But here's Gulshan Jar. Brilliant stop at backward point from Arif Sheikh. Prevents the two.
I just think with this type of ball and this type of pace, but also this type of line and length, you know, he's a quality bowler with a strong action, and he's looking to hit the deck hard. I would probably just like to see somebody just in that gully region, you know, really tighten up that gap.
Almost just add a second thought into the batter's brain.
Yeah, but also, if he's looking to bowl that fifth stump line, he's not going to hit it down deep square.
And it has been a show of what Nepal have been brilliant at over the last few days, is bowling to a plan. It doesn't really feel like there's much of a plan in place at the minute, especially early doors in their bowling innings on Monday. It was their ability to bowl to a 7-2 field, keep it outside that off stump and not give anything away.
Yeah, the fact that they're 6 down in a matter of 20-30 minutes kind of helped the cause, but it was an attacking field with excellent relentless bowling coming on, so you want to continue doing that as much as possible.
Good shot for no run there.
Yeah, a good shot for no run there, well fielded by that man himself, who's looking to throw at the non-striker's end. But Bimal, who stood at mid-on, just slightly out of place, and I don't think he would have got there with the rocket arm of Dipendra. That might have been going for extra runs.
Ooh, quick bouncer. Wide given. He looks incredibly unimpressed with that one. But a well-targeted short delivery that looks like it brings a good amount of pace, skidding off this surface. And it's actually the end where we saw Julius Samaroa bowl with brilliant pace and bounce. And Gulshan's Jar is showing a sign of it again here.
Yeah, and as I expressed before, he has got a strong action. He does hit the crease hard. He's got a lovely rhythmic approach to it. But there is a strong bowling action. Once he hits that front foot, really comes down with a hard length delivery.
There's Jersey tick along once more. Two batters that are easy on the eye, but very different style of batter. We've got the more brute power boundary hitting Carline, and then we've got the manipulation and the almost scoreboard ticking style of batter of Patrick Gooch. They're playing very well in tandem, and their partnership sits at 58 for 9 at the end of the 13th.
Is that a similar approach to the Duckett and Gate era? Is this?
I guess so. They're almost slightly different in terms of almost opposite in stature wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, Duckett is more that aggressive style of batter, and Gay the more traditional. Whereas I wouldn't argue either of these two are traditional opening batters. They're almost two that would also settle quite nicely into the middle order.
Yeah, they've done well. Good platform for Jersey. They've really looked to see out the new ball from both sides. Lots of changes going on from the Nepal bowling team. As we see another change from the deep end as Nandan Yadav, the number 22, comes on to bowl. Another strong seam bowler who's got a lovely rhythmic action, quite high in his approach with a little jump, vertical jump. He's got a great approach. It'll be interesting to see how he extracts anything off the pitch.
Shooting low once more from the surface. We've mentioned it a few times, but on the whole, this pitch is a great one-day wicket. It's offering enough for bat and ball. We've seen balls whiz past the outside edge, and we've seen balls clatter away to the boundary. feels like there's a lot on offer for both departments.
Yeah, and credit goes to the ground staff here. They've done really well to maintain the same wicket as well. Great cricket wicket. I think there's a lot to offer. There's something for everybody there.
Yadav gets one to tail back in. And Googe, I think, thought there might have been a fielder in the ring there because he sprinted to the non-striker's end as if a throw was about to come in. Literally, no, actually a 2 was on offer.
And I think it was Harrison who was looking for the 2,
Yeah.
turned around looking for the 2, only to see his partner 20 metres past the umpire, who wasn't interested at all.
Must say, I'm really enjoying watching Googe go about his business today.
Yeah, he's looked strong. He's looked good, and it'll be a real confidence booster for him as well. 29 of 36. He's played really well. Played the short ball really well.
Carline just punching it, timing it away through the point area. Picked up by Isham Pandey. My style of cricketer is Googe. Looking for singles off the good deliveries. Where can he find the next run? Wide gap between mid-on and the keeper. 2 deep fielders. Square leg and fine leg. There's Nandan Yadav. Thinks about the way that he can take his next wicket. No real catcher in. Mid-wicket is now in to cover up the mid-wicket gap. Googe gets on top of it. Finds another single in the leg side. So, former head coach of Q8 Kaz. Let's say you've drinks break, few overs away now. What would you be telling your players from a fielding point of view with the opening batters having a good stand on?
I'd be looking to obviously instill confidence as much as possible because the body language has just dropped a little bit. Second thing is from a bowling perspective, I'd probably like to see my spinners coming on from the current end and the seamers coming on from this end. And if anything, trying to just be a little bit tighter inside the ring to just create a moment of brilliance. Got to find a way to take a wicket, whether that's a run out, a catch in the deep, a mistake from the batters. But one thing is definitely for sure, there can't be any width on offer. From a bowling perspective, you've just got to be a little bit tighter for me, and not give any cheap runs away. Because once you break this partnership, potentially could bring a second batter in play. As we see the bowling card there, lots of changes. You can see the Nepal guys ringing the changes. Everyone's bowled 3 overs apart from the 2 lads bowling now, Gulshan Jha and Nandan Yadav. 3 for 21 from Karan KC. Of his 3 overs, 3 overs gone for Lalit, who's also gone for 7, who's been probably the most economical bowler, I say. And the 2 opening bowlers, Sampal Kami and Hamad
Dami, yeah, they bowled well in tandem, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And from Jersey's perspective, this is, the last over, that was Gulshan's first over against him, so they probably wouldn't have faced him or seen him before. They've probably seen a lot of videos of him, but you can see he's got a very different approach, a little bit taller than Sampal. Looks to hit the deck harder, so the bounce is coming harder and hitting the spice of the bat harder. Poses different threats and different challenges.
Shah looks like he's coming in with some good pace here. Googe just looks slightly jumpy. Almost as if the pace is a little bit quicker than we've seen elsewhere today. But Googe remaining firm. He's on 30 now. same as Carline, 62 for Nan.
Yes, strong position at the crease, but I'm really impressed with Gulshan. He's really putting some effort into these deliveries, and you can see he's probably been the quickest on shore so far from all the bowlers, all the fast bowlers.
I wonder if at some point we might see Jar really pitch one up towards the stumps. This one is short, out towards mid-wicket. Picked up on it quickly there to Googe and looks up to the sky in slight annoyance that he didn't get more hold of it. Deep square is quite backward, so there is a gap between mid-wicket and that fielder. But just for a bit of context, in the first game, Jersey were 62 for 8 when they got to this total. There's a quick bumper. Good decision though from Googe to pull out of the pull shot. Not always the easiest shot to pull out of, especially when you're a compulsive hooker of the ball.
Yeah, and a really good learning point for youngsters and batters in general. He's obviously moved the deep square slightly in front, so you know something's coming down. He's bowled it quick, fiercely at the head, and a positive leave. It is a sign of an attack for me. It's a great option to have. So you can leave the ball to obviously respect the ball and save your wicket.
Tickled away, didn't quite get enough bat on it to scare the boundary. It's been picked up by fine leg for a single. It's a definite plan now from Nepal to target the two deep fielders out at square leg and fine leg with the short ball stuff. But I really am thinking that they're pushing Googe slightly on the back foot. Carline is now on strike, and I wouldn't be surprised at some point if Jar just, when he's ready, bowls a full quick Yorker.
Yes, a variation ball.
Yeah.
But what we also haven't seen is a variation from the seamers.
Yeah.
So on this pitch where you can see it's a little bit two-paced, haven't quite seen that just yet.
And a top edge runs away for 4. And the picture of Jar tells the story, hands on head, as he knows the plan almost came into fruition. But that ends the over. Jersey will take the boundary, they'll move on. It's 67 for 9 at the end of the 15th. And umpire's having a little discussion now, maybe talking about a drinks break, although I think they've found the ball. They'll have a little look at it as it skipped away, almost went over a fence down there at fine leg. The umpire's going to have a little look at the ball. That's back in the bowler's hands. Carline will take that boundary and run with it. Not in the style he would have wanted, but 4 runs is 4 runs. Googe on strike now to Nandan Yadav. Googe pulls away well, and it beats the diving fielder. Brilliant shot. The short ball didn't quite get up on the opening batter, and Nandan Yadav almost just looked like he tried to go in the helmet region. It didn't quite get up, and Goose punished it away for 4.
Yeah, it's been quite evident from that side that the ball isn't quite getting up. It's not as sort of helmet high, regardless of the effort going in, and you have to really dig it in short and really.
There's another nice shot. Beats the diving mid-wicket. And Googe goes back-to-back with 4s. And Nandan Yadav is missing his mark at the minute. And Googe putting him back under pressure. Jersey now 75 for none.
Yeah, two very different deliveries, slightly off the mark. great from Guj, who's just crashed into the delivery. One sort of just in front of square, a deep square, and one in front of mid wicket. Looks solid. But Nandan's got his work cut out here. He's really got to find a plan that he's going to have to stick with.
Cuts away, back with a point. Fielder out there though. And Guj moves to 39. Not much to the Nepal fans to cheer about as of yet. But Nandan Yadav, I'm not sure this is quite his plan. I think Yadav would love to be settling in at a good length and trying to bring the outside edge into play. But with the ball 15 overs old now, it seems to be the team tactic from both ends to target the short ball. And I think, personally, it's time for a bit of spin from the far end, as you've been mentioning as well, Kaz.
Yeah, and I think just with Gulshan from this end, he's obviously the guy who's got the pace, who's obviously rushing the batters up. Something that Yadav is not actually quite doing at the moment. And he's bowling it relatively comfortable for the batters to sort of play with ease. So I'm not sure that's the right plan from the opposite end, whereas Gulshan over here bowling some hard lengths, fast, rushing the batters up, really targeting the helmet with a strong action. I can see that ploy from this end, but Yadav, not quite sure. And again, not really seen any change-ups with a pitch that's, you know, doing a few different things, not overly consistent, but enough to sort of show you that you can put some variations in there.
As Yadav continues to hammer away. Yeah, it's one thing we saw a lot from groundsman Daniel Birrell, back on Monday. Instantly, in his first over, almost had three changes of pace.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right, we haven't really seen a cutter, we haven't seen a slower delivery or anything just to make the batters think.
Yeah, and that's probably another ploy that I'd try and go to. So when you're trying to assess the conditions, something for the captains to think about here, you know, a tactical approach would be how quickly can we go to some variation? When do I need to sort of get in position of maybe changing up the plan and being adaptable to the conditions? Because it's one thing having a plan from outside and getting all your bowlers to do your 4 overs and 5 overs and whatever. But it's another thing to adapt to the situation and the conditions, and don't be afraid to go to them change-ups.
And as Drinks is taken at 77 for none, I just want to ask you, Kaz, it feels almost too often in international cricket where you see a bowler being asked to execute a plan which isn't quite up his street. We see the card there and it tells you the story, doesn't it? Carline and Guj, they've been absolutely superb. 35 for Carline, 39 for Guj, going just under a one a ball rate. However, they've batted with class today. But just back to that point as we look at the bowler's card now. Kami and Rajbanshi, very, very economical. Going at the mid-2s per over. Kami not quite as successful as Monday, where he took 4 wickets in the game. But Gulshan Jar also showing good signs and good pace. So it feels, as I mentioned, it feels too often sometimes in international cricket where bowlers are trying to carry out a plan which doesn't quite suit them. Is that something you discuss as a team and you think, yeah, we're not going to have Nandan take on the short ball ploy, we're going to bring him on at a different point in the game, or do you expect a professional cricketer to be able to carry out any plan that's almost asked of him?
I think in today's day and age, you'd expect the professional cricketer to have them skills and tools in his pocket ready to go at any point. But again, you've got to look at the strengths and weaknesses of a bowler, and if you're asking somebody where the build and the body and the strength might not be there to bowl 6 bounces in a row or challenge the hip as often as possible, you know, you can see the contrast difference in the two physical elements from the two bowlers on shore. You might be asking them to do something out of their natural ability, which can cause injury in the long run, which can put a lot of impact on the on the body, which the stress is not required. But also, you might be taking the bowler away from his natural game plan, which has got him to this level in the first place. So, you want your bowlers to be resourceful as much as possible, but you also want to make sure that the bowler has the ability to turn around and say, well, my success rate is this, I'm learning this, and it's not quite ready, and I'm trying to back this up in from a bowling perspective.
And so there we see Stuart Law, head coach of Nepal, talking to his players. Let's put you in that position again, Kaz. Bit of confidence boosting going on, a few people sat down, a couple of heads dropping, and what do you reckon they'll be talking about tactics-wise?
I think the key thing here is just to try and find a wicket. Stewie Law, known him for a while now, he's a great individual with lots of cricketing experience, but also lots of experience as head coach, been around the world, had lots of different challenges. He'll be, he's done a fantastic job in Nepal since he's been involved, and they've gone from leaps and bounds, and they've really shown the tagline of the cardiac kids have calmed down a little bit. So I'm sure he's trying to instill some, tactics in there which they might not be able to see on the pitch. And you've got to try and simplify as often as possible. You cannot keep going in there and saying, I want you to do these 5 or 6 things. Maybe 1 or 2 things just to sort of, remind people on certain elements. Maybe a fielding change, maybe a tactical move that might not be so evident or visible that you can see from the outline, but you can't see from inside. So, great experience, fantastic man is Stewie Law, and I think he's done a wonderful job. Great accent as well.
And we see the Jersey batters there having a little discussion, I think, with the skipper, Rohit Padel. More of the same for Jersey?
Yeah, absolutely, and they'll be fantastic, overly happy, I think, and they've done fantastically well to get into a really solid start. Another tick in the box from a batting unit perspective, get to drinks without a wicket down. 77 for no loss is a really good platform, and I'm sure they'd want to kick on from here onwards.
Well, Gulshan Jart will be looking to make an impact now as he runs in again from the pavilion end, fresh after a bit of hydration. Patrick Goose sorting out his grip, Harrison Carlisle getting his head back in the game. There's these two, as you mentioned, Kaz, looking to kick on and keep doing what they're doing. I reckon they probably won't change much at all. Maybe they'll get to the 35 over mark and then start thinking about maybe climbing up. I mean, if they're still together by over 30, they can look to do it a little bit earlier. And here comes Gulshan Jart. Can he make the breakthrough? Unbelievable start. Textbook from Carlisle. And so often the ball after drinks might bring about a chance, but that's the complete opposite.
Yeah, I was just about to say there might be a wicket after drinks. Always a saying and always a going. Always does take shape, whatever level you're playing at. But that's a freebie for the batter. It's exactly what you want, just to realign your focus, get yourself back in. And from a bowling perspective, it's not what you want to start off with.
Slightly over pitched. Put away. Short ball, cut away. There's a fielder out there. And with the spin and skip, takes it away past him. Arjun Kamal will pick up from behind the covers. And a shaky start after drinks from Gulshan.
Yeah, and you've kind of leaked 8 runs purely because you've not bowled in the right areas, and that's what a drinks break or a momentum break can do for you. You've given some width on offer in the second delivery with pace, and there's no fielder out there, and then you've started off with a rank half volley and a batter who's cashing in on the 40s is not going to miss out.
No, we've hardly seen Carlisle miss out on a single poor delivery so far today. He sits on 43. And that's brilliant batting. 4-4 and runs it down to third man. Doesn't get ahead of himself, doesn't look for the third boundary on the trot. The nails sit after very close to the perfect start for him post drinks.
Yeah, and this will be a really good challenge for Gulshan, who's obviously got the pace and the bounce and everything that goes with it, but you really still want to be clinical, and he's just not been in the first 3 balls there. He's want to start targeting, getting back into rhythm, trying to get past the splice of the bat, hip high, targeting the off stump as much as possible. And I think he's more favourable to do that to Patrick Gouge as opposed to Harrison.
Gulshan continuing to try and hone in on that length, and I reckon the discussion maybe in the drinks break could have been to use that bouncer with a little bit more surprise, because the fielders are both out there. It's still definitely a tactic, and maybe we might see one just before the end of the over. The batters continuing where they left off. Run rate a tick over 5. Jersey will be incredibly happy with their start.
Yeah, they've done well. 86 for the loss of no wickets. Done really well. Positive signs. Great to see from the Jersey batters, and they'll be looking to cash in towards off milestones that they can get to.
There it is. There's the short ball. Fielder interested just over the top. Gouge gets a 6 for it, but it wasn't without risk. That ends the over. It's 92 for none, and there was the surprise bouncer. Gulshan Jar walks off towards his teammate Bim Sharkey for a little discussion, but he'll be disheartened with how that over ended. He snatches the towel off and steams out towards fine leg. 92 for none.
I think he's more disappointed with the fielding effort. That's been hit really, really hard. There was a fielder out there, and it does look like it was Sandeep who's out there. But maybe a little bit of a higher jump. It was going in the right direction. Sandeep's waltzed in, left the ball for one of the spectators to go and fetch as he comes up to mark his run up. Class act.
Well, here we go then. Sandeep Lamichhane. They need a breakthrough here, Nepal. And they brought on their main man to get it. A slip in, mid-wicket. The deep men are mid-wicket and long off, and deep point as well. There's also a long on as Lamichhane bowls. Carline treats him with respect. Two men approaching their milestones.
Do you want a water?
Lamichhane on the mark again.
Yeah, he started off well, hasn't he? Just a wily run up into the crease, looking to ball into the right areas. I think he'll be wanting to get through his repertoire as much as possible. Experience around the world.
Pushing drive into the covers. And a single well taken. This opening pair have just been so impressive today. Not just in the balls that they've put away, but the balls in which they've found runs from. Lamichhane spins himself a catch. Guj on strike on 45. Start of dreams this for Jersey. Top edge as it's a powerful cut shot from Guj. It's going to run away for 4. And that moves him on to 49. So just one run away. Not the most convincing shot, but he's got a ball to do it against Sandeep Lamachani.
Yeah, he's batted well. Little bit of fortune there, thick outside edge. Sandeep will be trying to finish strong here.
Can Lamachani get him on 49? It's a googly. And the umpire sticks to the decision of not out. And Guj survives. He saw it, his eyes lit up at the short ball, didn't he? And he didn't quite pick the googly, and it was a chance, but going down leg and probably height as well. Lamachani ends his first over. It goes for 5, and Jersey a 97 for none.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much Patrick Guj has faced of Sandeep Lamachani before. Maybe on Laura 97 or something like that. Is that a computer game? What is it nowadays?
God, I went through the Don Bradman era, I think. I remember playing Don Bradman 17. That was a classic game. Just a question about analysis at the associate nation level. How much goes into preparing for a bowler like Sandeep Lamachani? We'll get back to it after this ball as Lalit Rajbanshi returns to the attack. Harrison on 45. Struck on the pad. This is a big call for the umpire. It was a large appeal from Rajbanshi. He was desperate for that wicket. Heavy thud on the front pad. And looked close. But yeah, how much analysis do teams do at the associate nation level?
Well, having had experience with 3 different countries now, all with different budgets, of course.
Yes.
You know, in my last job, we had a fantastic analysis coming from India, who very professional in his work, tagged every single delivery, every single ball, brought out strengths and weaknesses, gave real insight information to every batter, every bowler, and allowed the batters to soak up that information. The danger is you over-empower players with the knowledge and they're not quite used to it. Some systems are in place where players will just want it on their phones as something to watch over or refer back to. Some players, as soon as they come off, sit down with the analyst and go, you know, deep into their discussions about why they've been out and what they haven't. I think each to their own, but it's our job as coaches and a management system to provide that information however they want to learn that information and go away and improve the game.
And Carline now just taking a few dot balls. This would be really interesting to see how he closes out this over, Carline. He's not a man that likes to block out deliveries and let pressure build up upon him. He finds a single in the covers. Little chance at the non-striker's end as the ball picks up and hits Lalit in the neck region. But Nepal have just got to remember that that's what a few dots can do. As the wind continues to breeze and throw a few things off our table. Rajbanshi's got one delivery left to close out this brilliant over. Guj on 49. 98 for none, Jersey. At bottom edge. Trickles to short third. Now, player on 49. He's had a couple of overs in a row now where he's just faced out the final delivery on 49. And maybe just a small milestone might be building up upon him. End of the over, 98 for none.
Be interesting to see how Nepal can get a breakthrough. They've obviously gone to their most experienced spinner who's had success around the world, bowled to some of the biggest and greatest batters out there and played some of the greatest tournaments out there. Be interesting to see how Sandeep is also going to be utilising his googly as much as possible to the right-handers and how he sets them up.
And there is the googly you mentioned. For a minute I thought there was a rattle of the stumps, but Karlan gets away with it, and he's already showing the challenge that Lamichhane possesses in the variation department.
Yeah, and the danger is that Karlan hasn't...
Oh, it's happened again.
And that's the point that I'm trying to... If you look at it from a technical point of view, there's too much of a gap between bat and pad here. And he's allowing the googly to come in and attack the stumps. I'd probably want to see more of a full-face attacking shot as opposed to I'm going to sit back and try and cut him, because that's all what the bowler's looking for, is enough space between bat and ball to go on and hit the stumps with a googly.
There's another show of it, and you get the feeling if Lamichhane bowls any fuller and Karlan continues to rock back all of a sudden, that's going to be a real danger with the ball spinning in with the variation. But Harrison, 4 runs away from a 50. He'll be looking to get there with a boundary, that's for sure. Off the back foot, Harrison Carlisle hesitates for a moment and gets to non-striker's end for a single. He moves to 47.
Leg back.
46 he will remain on then. So Guj now has 2 balls to get to his 50. He's on 49, matching his shirt number. And the single would also take Jersey to the 100 opening partnership. A punch down the ground, hits the stumps. That would have come off the bat and Guj would have instantly thought it's 50 time. But he's got to remain patient. Lamichhane has the tools. Plenty of experience now. Still only 25 years of age. And another little pause as Guj has been on 49 for plenty of time. And he pats it back to Lamichhane, who does his job and leaves Guj on 49. That ends the over. 99 without loss, Jersey. And both batters just got to hold their nerves as they approach the 50 mark. And they continue their brilliant, top quality opening stand.
Yeah, it's been good so far. Very impressed. 20 overs solid platform. Another tick in the box for the batting unit. 20 overs gone without a loss, as the batting card shows. Harrison on 46 of 66. And Guj stuck on 49 of 54 balls. It's been edging away, trying to get a single away or somewhere, find a gap somewhere or the other. But they've been solid so far, and it's been a real good show and a great comeback from the first game.
Oh, it's a flowing drive. It's just beaten backward point, who was reeling around to try and get there. And it is going to be fielded on the boundary. And there's plenty of applause, and I'm not sure if there is a 50 up, because it was a 3 for Harrison. And he's moved to 49, so plenty of chuckles away in the hospitality tent as the fans have realised both now sit on 49. 100 up though for Jersey, that must have been the applause. And Guj pops one back to the bowler. Lalit Rajbanshi has got a task to do. Both batters on 49. A little bit of nerves in the air. He looks to close out this over. And Guj has been on 49 for 4 overs now. And a brilliant stop from Rajbanshi continues the wait. Guj has got to remain patient. He has a little scan of the field. Ponders on his next single to reach the half-century mark. And again the ball grips. So easy, a batter can let the pressure get the better of him. Goose remains focused. Down the track, he's hit it high up into the sky. Fielder out there, he's interested. It's been caught on the boundary. Oh, it's a brilliant piece of work. The most eventful way to get to 50. And a top quality piece of fielding from the Nepal captain, Dipendra Singh Array. You've raved about his fielding, Kaz, and that is an unbelievable piece of work on the boundary. He takes the catch, throws it back over, and he almost had a chance. But the story is Goose gets to 50, Jersey 103 for none, 1 ball left in the over with Harrison Carline on 49. Could Jersey do it in back-to-back balls? He goes back, punches it into the offside, and a slightly less eventful way to reach 50. And he appreciates the crowd, raises his bat, and a fitting way for both these two opening batters who've got Jersey off to the perfect start, get to 50 in consecutive balls, congratulate each other, but they know the job's only half done. 104 for none, Jersey, and an incredible over comes to an end.
What an eventful last 2 balls that was. Everything was on show there. But obviously from Dipendra's point of view, had a bit of work to do to get to the boundary. Made it a little bit more difficult for him because the ball was going away from him, hit into the wind. But I'm really happy for the 2 batters. They've really showed that there's some great determination to get over that 50 yards. We see the replay of this effort, and it's almost just, if anything, he's been pulled away from the ball because the ball's going away from him. He's not quite got to the boundary line as high as he would probably want to be to pull it back in, and he's almost pushed it away from him too far.
Two things come to mind then. One of which DSRA was intentionally about 10 yards in from the rope, so it made that job so much more challenging to run backwards, look over your shoulder, and still take the catch. And the other thing, which is so impressive, which shows me and everyone watching a glimpse of how good his fielding is, was that little scan. He had a brief moment, as this one is the googly again, beats Googe on the inside edge. There was a really, really brief moment as he was running back towards the boundary. A split second he looks at the boundary. Where is the rope? How far can he run back to? And it was just in that split second he was able to judge it with perfection.
Yeah, and he, like I say, he is renowned for his fielding. He is one of the better fielders around in associate cricket, and now going into franchise cricket, he's really made a name for himself.
And this googly is a real challenge for the Jersey batters. Both these 2 opening batters going back early to the googly and just about getting it out each time. Do you think the googly is almost a ball Lamachani will be wanting to flight up slightly more, maybe draw the bats onto the front foot, or is it a pretty common dismissal to lose wickets with googlies pouncing a little bit short?
Sandeep is a bowler who does bowl with a little bit of pace, so you'll kind of see his googly with a lower trajectory coming in, so it's almost like a back of the length delivery. However, it's not quite working at the moment, so you do want to draw the batters in. One of his dismissals on Monday was slightly fuller, beaten through the gate, so I do want to see him just bowl a little bit slower in the air, a little bit fuller, see if he can draw the batters to come in and either hit down the ground or hit over the top and obviously beat them through the gap.
Yeah, well remembered of Jake Dumford falling for 5 on Monday to that Lamachani googly, and he almost walked off in resignation at the quality of the ball.
Yeah, and he's got that quality. Again, the 2 spinners now are starting to put a little bit of pressure back on to the Jersey batters. They've couple of good overs. It's key now, again from a captain's point of view, you want to start looking at trying to build some pressure. If you can't find a wicket or there's no obvious mistakes from the batters coming, what you want to do is start putting some pressure on from the bowling perspective to build some dots up, and equally that's a pressure in itself. Or you want a moment of brilliance from your fielders like we nearly had in the last over.
Would you say that Nepal brought their spin on too late? Yes, they had an early spell from Raj Banshi in the power play, but I wonder if they could have brought on Lamachani straight after the power play. Yes, it's a small fix, but as this is a play and a miss from Carline, look at how he dips down and instantly gets frustrated. Do you think they maybe brought on spin too late, or is it minimal?
Two things. One, he was off the pitch for 7 or 8 overs, so coming up to the 10-over period there, he was actually doing laps in front of us. So he might not have been on the pitch ready to go. But the second thing is, you're right. Maybe straight after the power play is finished, the field is spread. Maybe they could have gone to their fast best premium sort of spin bowler. However, they are here to try to get everybody into the game as often as much as possible. The second practice game that they've got over here is to try and give everybody a chance to get into the game. So, yeah, maybe the bigger pitch is not to instantly take wickets, but trying to get everybody in terms of overs and get the workloads up.
Harrison Carline just motioning to the dugout for a request at a drink. Top edge on the sweep. It lands safely. Goose had a couple of moments like that where a leading edge is taken. It's been well fielded and they'll get back for a second run. Yeah, I have just noticed that Carline is slightly struggling out there. Just in the last few overs, taking his lid off in between the sets of 6. Both on 53 now, these two. More good batting from Googe. Low risk on drive punch out towards long on. The star fielder does the work, and on comes a drink for the two batters. As Jersey now sit on Nelson, 104 none, 23 overs gone. At what point do these two look to start to up the ante?
25th over. That's a halfway point. You've got wickets in the tent, and you can see from the two batters they're just getting a little bit fatigue, starting to creep in a little bit. A few mistakes are starting to come in terms of execution. So yeah, I mean, there's something brewing. There's something coming. Either we're going to get a flurry of runs, or we're going to get a breakthrough in the wickets.
Gooch finds a single. Dangerous man to take on. And Carline, the man who just requested some water, has had to go through his paces. He looks up to the sky, just asking Patrick Gooch, why? Why do that to me straight off?
It's the last thing you want, isn't it? Young lad calling you through.
Imagine what a 3 would do to him now. There's a shot of a man who's potentially getting a bit tired. It's a good save from Pandey. And Carline gets back for a 2, getting put through his paces. I can see, you did just mention the 25 over mark. I wonder if Carline might start taking it upon himself to bludgeon a few boundaries away. Because Sandeep Lamachani has bowled well. He's used the googly to good effect. As Slip moves out to short third. Maybe that's just a little sign to Carline that he could maybe be a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, and also a sign that the ball's probably not turning as much for a Slip to be in there. As we say that, we see a bit of turn.
I must say, you've made a few unbelievable calls over the last few days, but that one didn't quite land.
So Sandeep's got it wrong, I've got it wrong.
Yeah, blame the bowler. And now a Slip comes back in. I think everyone judged that wrong, to be honest. Oh, as the googly. scuttles through onto the stumps. There's a roar from Lamachani in anger. He sets his standards so high, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, and he's been a great servant to Nepal cricket. It's fantastic. Early doors, he was shot onto the limelight very, very, very quickly. Something's brewing here, I can feel it.
Well, there's one ball left to survive for Carlion. If there's something brewing, it might just happen now. Lamachani maybe just lobs one up here. He goes flat, and DS Array with the misfield. Fielded out in the deep by Lalit Rajbanshi. And that ends the over. Carlion gets a single. He moves to 56 and will keep the strike. 24 overs gone. 1-1-5 for none. And so Rajbanshi will continue. Are you motioning that you might want to see a bit of Arish Sheikh come on to the bowling? Is that what you're saying?
He bowled well the other night.
He did bowl well. Took 3 wickets.
Yeah. Bowled well.
And whilst Hemant Dami took the first 4 wickets, Arif took 3 of the next 4.
Yeah.
Including Samarar for a golden duck, Ward for 1, and he got the wicket of one of the 2 men out there. Carlion caught out a deep point.
Unless it could be his turn to rest. I mean, there are some movements happening on the sidelines from the Nepalese guys.
Harrison Carlion has to go. The pressure was built. You felt something was brewing, Kaz. And it was a huge swing down the track. And I think that might just be a moment there from Harrison Carlion, which shows to you that he was just starting to struggle out there. And he goes for a big swing, misses out, and he falls for a very, very well-made 56 from 80 balls. 115 for 1 now, Jersey.
Yeah, I kind of called it, you know. You could see it was starting to come. Something was going to happen. A miscue as he runs down to try and hit that over mid-on, mid-off. Good length delivery, good pace. But overall, a fantastic innings from Harrison as he walks off to a round of applause, both from his teammates, the management, and also the hospitality. Fantastic performance from the opening batter, the number 77 there, as we see a breakthrough from Nepal.
Now, I'd love to see a replay of that, because I'm not quite sure from the angle. I was blocked from young Patrick Gouge whether that was bowled or stumped. Stumped? Let's have a look at it then. Let's make our decision. I think he might have given up to head back here, Carlion. Down the track, missed. Rapid gloves. Bit of a close call for the square leg umpire. Carlion's got to go. He made a very, very good 56. He'll be immensely proud of that, and against a good quality lineup, good attack. He stood firm. Hit a few strong boundaries away, but we see the new batter, Nick Greenwood. Was the pick of the Jersey bowlers on Monday. See how he does with the bat. And he's had a lot of time to spend with his pads on in the dugout. 24 overs of it. And it does come with its challenges, doesn't it, after an opening stand? Coming in as a number 3. A lot of time sat on the bench waiting to go in. And also with the slight pressure to get going quickly.
Yeah, it doesn't. You know, different batters have different cues and different sort of preparations. Some watch every single delivery, put on some, you know, strain on the mental side of the aspect before they've even got in. Other people like to listen to the music and wait for something to happen and get themselves in. There's other people who are, other batters who are just constantly fidgeting and constantly walking around and trying to get into the action. Everyone's got their different cues, and on how they prep up on the sides.
Now you spent a bit of your playing career both opening and in the middle order with the bat. I personally could never not open batting. How did you go about being able to juggle sitting for a period of time which could either be one ball or 5 hours?
Yeah, great question. Great question. Try and stay there as long as possible so it kills the innings down. But I think from my point of view, opening was something that I was manufactured into because we had a position available, and at the time the team that we were playing for, you know, it was something that was asked of me, and I kind of took the responsibility, and then eventually going down to, after a couple of years of opening, going down to sort of one down, where I favoured that position a little bit more. But the key thing for me is, why wouldn't you want to face a new ball, a new challenge, put the team into a really good position? Power play kicks in, fielders' restrictions are in place.
And as we see, a change of wicketkeeper. Now, he's got Hemant Dhami's shirt on. Whether that is actually Hemant Dhami, we'll have to find out for you, because we did struggle a little bit on Monday with 2 number 13s out on the pitch. We'll do our best to let you know who that is. But after a very, very good stumping, Asif Sheikh does depart the field. He'll be having a little bit of a break at the 25 over mark. And Greenwood begins his time facing Lamachani with a confident push into the offside. Greenwood will take a single, even post a breakthrough for Nepal. It continues to be a little bit flat out there in the field. And Jersey batters, it gives them the ability to keep going about their business. Patrick Googe in particular will be targeting 3 figures, that's for sure. 117 for 1 here, Jersey. He's got a mighty problem to solve with Lamachani, who continues to run in. Takes a single into the offside, well fielded by Kushal Patel. This might be me being a little bit harsh here, but do you think it's a slight technical issue? A lot of Lamachani's googlies are tending just to be a fraction short.
He does bowl it quick through the air, and the trajectory wise, he's not one to get over the top of his delivery. As that ball races away past the 45 position on the leg side, tucked in nicely there from Patrick Googe. Again, a googly that's not been effective. Trickle down for 4 runs.
Yeah, misfield there from the fielder at short fine. Lamachani definitely won't be too happy, as the hospitality tent continues to rumble and murmur. And there's the googly again, just slightly short from Lamachani. I would love to see a batter be forced to get on the front foot to the googly. See if Lamachani can really lob a few up there. Maybe he's not getting quite enough purchase to be able to put it up above the eye line with confidence, but I'm sure Lamachani's got something up his sleeve. And that drive pops through the hands of Kushal Patel. The standards in the field have just ever so slightly dropped here for Nepal. They need to keep the pressure up as Jersey get through to 1-2-4 for 1.
Yeah, and interesting point you made there of the fielding standards. A slight contrast difference to what we saw the other night in terms of being efficient, being on it, not making any mistakes in the field. You can just see it didn't help in the first over or so. Very early doors, we had the overthrows coming in. You know, the standards have been okay so far, but I'm pretty sure the Nepal management under the watchful eye of Stuart Law would probably just want them boys to be a little bit more clinical in the field, and that's another challenge you have on days like this where you are bowling first. It's a different challenge. It's a new day. It's a fresh challenge. So you gotta try and tick all the boxes as much as possible.
Now, as we see Kushal Patel, he was doing some warming up with his spin into the glove, into the mitt of Stuart Law on the sidelines, but now he's here, ready to go. Spins himself a catch, and he's in now, and slashed away by the man with the half century. Patrick Gouge gets to the non-strikers as a drag down begins the spell from Patel. Definitely a less breezy day at Grainville. Still the cloud cover remains. And Greenwood continues to tick along with ones and twos. So we just get a still moment in today's weather. Nicer day than we had for the first one day at. Gouge goes back, punches up to long off for an extra single. Gouge continues to impress. And I wonder if Patel might just be one of those bowlers. We often see it more in the longer format when a partnership is set. And when a pitch is good for batting, actually a part-time leggy is the kind of bowler that could break a partnership, whether it's with a drag down or a magic delivery, or whether it's a delivery which just might make the batter's eyes light up and think that it's a boundary on offer. Greenwood remains patient there.
And he's bowled alright, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's put the ball in the right areas, ball into his field, as he looks to bring in a slight fielding change here. Depender from mid-on moving to long on, and a fielder at deep mid-wicket coming inside the ring.
That's a good delivery. Hanging the ball on about a 4th, 5th stump line with a bit of leg spin, but that ends the over. Umpire hands the cap back to Patel, and Jersey at 127 for one from their 27 overs and continue to tick along nicely. And now the question remains of at what point Jersey will look to start clicking up through the gears. And me personally, I reckon we'll probably wait until about the 37, 35 over mark, which might seem late for you.
Yeah, traditionally teams tend to go around, 32, 30, 35 at the latest. The last 15 overs, last 18 overs, they're trying to capitalise as much as possible, especially in this position. You've got wickets in the tent. They could go earlier if the two set batters were in, but obviously you've got a change up in Nick Greenwood coming in, who's might need a little bit of time into the crease, although he's on 9 off 12. He's done really well since he's been in. But yeah, at some point they're going to have to accelerate. If that 300 mark should definitely be a target for me.
Gouge getting really, really low into his shots off the front foot. It's a good sign of a good player of spin. Movements are quick. Amachani searching for a wicket now. Can he get one on the board? Beautiful shot of Gouge. Rushes through for the first run, even though it's got single written all over it. Such a great sign of a young batter. willing to push for every run.
Yeah, he's looked good, hasn't he? He's looked solid. Solid young batter, only 23 years of age, sorry. It looks a quality find for Jersey. He's batted really well, showed some confidence, pulled really well, looks to really get into his stride here. He's looked good. Game plan against spin has been good so far. He's obviously watchful. Early doors against the seamers, a really good find.
Good glove work from the man who's been subbed on. But yeah, Goose just looking mature beyond his years at the moment. So Lamachani. Lofts a good length ball just outside the line of off stump. I am enjoying watching Lamachani go about his business and lobbing the odd ball up. He's oozing class. So there is the googly again, just a touch short. We'll definitely be looking to pitch that one up, but that ends the over. 129 for 1, as we now see Kushal Patel come back onto the bowling, and I can now deliver you a few stats about his one-day international bowling career. He's bowled exactly 100 overs now, just with the one maiden. Best figures of 4 for 20 coming against the Netherlands. He also has a 4 for 23 against the USA. And the man behind the stumps who has been subbed likes of Jonty Jenner, who spoke so well out there at the toss. Looking forward to another challenge. As another one of your calls comes off here. Kaz, you've asked for it, and it's time for the man who took 3 wickets on Monday. Arif Sheikh for a little bit of those slightly pace off, but off the long run deliveries.
Yeah, and I thought he was really effective on Monday. He did really well. But again, a bit of a different challenge for him here because Team Nepal have only got 1 wicket at the moment. Different conditions. He's bowling to a set batter. So it'll be interesting to see what he's going to do and what his plan is here.
Moves through low.
Skiddy bowler.
Yeah, it's quite a bit, but it's a sight we've seen a lot of, as you mentioned earlier today, from that end. The ball just having more of a tendency to shoot through low. Good glove work from Binod. Again, there it is. I wonder if that's just more a sign of the skiddy nature of the bowler or more from the pitch here.
The danger here is that he gets a massive thick edge or a slight nick into the keeper's glove here, playing that shot. The tactic is obviously have the keeper up and trying to get him to play from the crease, skid the ball on as much as possible.
And that one picks up as Guj predicted, and gets a single out towards Raj Banchu, does the work. Yeah, it's when those flat batted shots come with the extra risk when there is that variable bounce. And it's a shot he really enjoys. Guj using the pace down towards third man and backward point region. The late cuts is a shot he executes well. As there's a sign of a ball just picking up off it. Back of a length ball.
It's a rare sign from that end, a ball just taking off. A lot of the balls have kept sort of almost waist height, sort of thigh pad height. So that's just a great take behind the stumps. A little bit of a breather for 10 overs and let him go again in the last 10. But he's got to look to stick around as much as possible. Keep rotating strike.
Pulled away nicely, skipping along the boundary. And Nick Greenwood gets the boundary to his name. He moves to 16, and a slight drag down from Kushal Patel as he whips out. I've never seen that. He's pulled almost a string out of his playing bottoms.
I think what you've just seen there is often players cut the trouser so it fits around the ankle a little bit better, and the threading from the ankle, or what he's cut out, is probably what's quite loose there.
Well, I hope he doesn't have a trousers malfunction.
Well, we don't want to see that.
No, we don't. Especially a man of his quality. Solid punch through the covers.
Although I do believe he is a bit of a gym buff, so I'm sure his tattoos and his pectoral muscles and everything else, I'm sure he's not as shy of a selfie in front of the mirror. I don't think he'll mind having a malfunction anyway. Shot.
Well played from Googe. Thought about to. The Jersey batters have been so impressive. Everything you look for in a 50 over innings in terms of the first 30. They put away bad balls. And running between the wickets has been top class. There's no sign of Googe getting tired out there.
No, they've done really well, and a typical Jersey performance with the bat. In the first 30 overs, it's been really good to see against a really quality opposition from Nepal. I think they've done really, really well. They've shown they can have some resilience in coming back from the performance from the other day, but they've also shown that they've played some good cricket shots, they've respected good deliveries, they've played off the bad balls, but they've also looked to rotate the strike, which is quite key at this point, which they didn't do a lot of. I mean, bear in mind, we did lose a lot of wickets, but it's good to see that they're picking up singles inside the ring and rotating strike. And they've capitalised on the short ball and the boundary ball as much as possible.
They just have to hope now, right, that the collapse doesn't come, because the collapse would ruin all the hard work. And if they, I mean, similar to Nepal, where they were on Monday. Again, looking for two. Googe, good fielding out in the deep. But at the 35th over in Nepal's first innings, they were 172 for 2. And then ended up on 250.
Largely down to a massive shower and change of condition on the pitch, and, dare I say, excellent bowling from Jersey, who came out with a real definitive plan. So credit goes to Jersey. Not sure we're going to get quite the same rainfall, and also the condition changing of the pitch. Shot.
Backwards square, but fielder out there, well placed, collects. So I guess my question here now is, excluding the rainfall, there is still the potential there. If they get the next 10 overs or so wrong, Jersey would be incredibly unhappy with a score below 250.
Yeah, you'd like to think that 115 overs takes them to 250 with 5 overs to go.
Okay.
Or little over 5 overs to go, and trying to get up to that. You know, they might have a good spell in there, but 15 overs, 100 runs, it's not unheard of at this level with this amount of wickets. So I would probably say even 100, 120, 130. And with that kind of batting there from that explosion that we've just seen from Patrick Googe there, short ball from Arif, he's tucked into that and it's gone towards the cow corner area. Fantastic cricket shot for 4 runs.
He's done that so well today, hasn't he? The way he's used that pull shot to great effect. And so often the short balls haven't hurried him. It's how he got out on Monday. And almost the fact that Nepal have targeted it has worked to his favour, because he is so strong on the back foot.
Yeah, and I've got to question why he's bowled short when there's no deep cow corner out there. The only fielder that's deep seems to be just behind square. And in all the pull shots that we've seen so far bar the swivel pull that's gone behind the 45, sorry, fine leg. Everything's gone in front of square leg. So you can question the tactic.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be a huge amount of real clear planning from the Nepal bowlers as we see Rajbanshi take over. Greenwood queries the prospect of a quick cover single. As Jersey tick over the 150 mark now, with 32 overs gone. Single taken this time, putting the fielder under pressure. Causes the fumble in the pickup. Now Patrick Goose sits on 70. Greenwood has done his job to perfection, under the radar, getting up to the 20 mark, seeing himself in after a long opening stand. Great stop from Bilateral. You can see there's a few fielders out there where the Jersey batters just hesitate that little bit more about the chance of a single.
Yeah, absolutely, and a fine, flying Kushal Brutal mid-wicket doing the work for the left-arm spinner. Crucial in that area.
Googe has rotated the strike well down the ground. And it's the way he hits gaps with conviction. As a head coach, when you look at a young batter coming through and the key signs which show true potential, how much is it that impresses you around the striking of a ball? Because when Googe has milled it, it has gone a long way. But what I found so impressive is when he looks for singles, he really, firmly strikes it into a gap. He hits the deep fielder or he'll hit someone in the ring. And as we pause for a drinks break on 153 for one, how important is that when you're looking for young talent?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of the key criteria that you want from a batting perspective is players who can rotate the strike, who are game intelligent, so they have an ability to play back foot, front foot off both fast bowlers and spinners, but also who are players who've got a little bit of power, but also the finesse of the touch cricket, so they can find the angles, they can rotate the strike, they can get in between, making really good decisions, and they look to value the wickets. But also some batters who have some acceleration in the plan as well. So these are the criteria that I would be looking for if I'm looking for a young batter. Obviously, a great point for young cricketers out here, it's not always about power, and the lads who've got power sometimes don't have the finesse, the touch cricket, the angles, and the lads who've got finesse don't always have the power, a little bit like Joe Root when he was younger.
And Patrick Googe, who's been so impressive, sits on 71 off 87 balls. You can see Greenwood there on 20 from 31, just the one wicket today. Harrison Carlisle falling for 56 from 80 balls. Off the bowling of Rajbanshi, stumped well behind by Asif Sheikh. And that left them 115 for one just before the halfway mark. And now Jersey past 150 with 17 overs to go. Let's get your prediction.
Oh, prediction time. 17 overs to go. I'm still looking around the 280, 300 mark. I'm confident on the Jersey batters. They've shown some real skill. But I'm also confident that Nepal aren't just going to rest easy, and they're going to look to show a more determined finish, and they will pick up a few wickets. So there will be a little bit of a restriction. I'd love to see them go past 300 and see it really put the pressure back onto the Nepal guys. But I still think that Nepal have got enough quality in the bowling lineup to restrict Jerseys to around about 270, 290, something like that.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think that 280 mark is what they'll aim for. There is the chance that if they go pushing for that 300, it's around 9 runs per over from here. And if these two batters just go a little bit too early, if they go too soon, all of a sudden, if it doesn't come off, you've got 2 new batters coming out for the last 15 overs.
The danger is that you leave it too late. You've got 7 overs left before the 40th over, which leaves you 60 balls effectively to get them runs. And like you say, if you're losing wickets at a regular basis, you end up falling way shorter than that. You might even get to sort of 240 mark. But you want to see how long Goose can kick in for, and Nick Greenwood supporting him as much as possible. I would love to see a flurry of runs coming through. I think spectators want it, we want it. You know, everybody around the world wants to see a really good score put here, but also from Nepal's point of view, they've really rung the fielders around. The bowlers have come in and everyone's had a bit of a spell. Everyone's got some quality overs in. I'd love to see Sandeep 6 overs, none for 22. I'd love to see Sandeep coming in and finishing his 10 overs. The 2 fast bowlers will probably be coming back on, so Sampal Kami and Hemant Dami, they'll be looking to come back in and try and get some overs, as will Karan KC. The interesting for me is Lalit, who's gone for 1 for 20, who's the only one who's picked up a wicket here off his 8 overs. Maybe he can bowl out his 10 and really build some confidence up in trying to get his 10 overs. Again, it is a great day out for the boys to get some quality practice in, probably their last practice before they move on to the Netherlands for their Challenge 2 league. Be interesting to see whether they do.
Well, Lalit Rajbanshi, I think, has been a real performer today for Nepal, and he's case forward for a solid spot in this side. And you can see 1 for 20, going at about 2.5 runs and over. And I must say, on Monday he looked a little bit subdued. Sandeep Lamachani was landing the ball well. He took the wicket of the 2 spinners, and Rajbanshi felt like he couldn't quite get into his spell. And maybe just that short spell with the new ball that helped him get into his rhythm today, and he's looked brilliant. Here's Arif. Lofted drive, it's gone off the outside edge and run down towards a 3rd man where Lamachani does the fielding.
Well, on the last drinks break, we had a flurry of boundaries straight after. I wonder what we're going to get over here. The one bowler who's not actually had a ball or turned his arm over yet is Dipendra, a darter who bowls very, very quick off spin.
Chance for a run out. Brilliant piece of work from Rohit Padel, the skipper. But again, more good running from the Jersey batters, and I would quite like to see Nandan Yadav get another spell under his belt. He's only bowled 2 overs today. As this is a chance out towards the backward point fielder, who's out on the boundary and ends up taking it well on the bounce. Very, very similar to how Harrison Carlisle got dismissed in the first game. That sort of rash pull shot off the top edge, caught at deep point, but not this time. But yeah, I don't think Nandan Yadav has quite been given the chance to pull off a job he can do well. Greenwood takes a single out into the covers.
Yeah, and the danger is you don't give him any more overs, and he goes into a big tournament having had this experience and this level of outcome. As a captain, maybe even as a head coach, I'd want all my bowlers going into the big tournament fully confident that they can execute the skills. It's not been his 2 overs so far. He looked relatively easy to play, but I would like to sort of maybe just get him in a couple of more overs where he feels more confident leaving the pitch today.
Obviously it's challenging, you can't please everybody, but is the priority for Nepal for a player like Nandan Yadav, or for someone who's low on confidence, actually to really give them a solid run out on a day like this? Or, you know, now with the game situation needing a wicket, do you then prioritise that wicket taking? It's a tricky challenge.
It is a very tricky challenge, but also you're in the period of the game now where you're going to have to rely on your resources who are going to close the game out for you in a big tournament. So you can't just keep throwing the ball, to everybody. I think that stage has gone now. We're coming up to the last 15, 16 overs of the game where the guys who are bowling at the back end of the games in their major tournament will want to practice their skills and make sure they're right as well. So the fast bowlers in Sampal Kame, Karen Casey, Hemant, these guys will want to be coming back in as they did on the first game, just to sort of close out their skills and make sure that they can do the final preparations in a game situation, which is a different pressure to doing it in a net environment.
Valuable time out on the pitch for both sides here. Raj Banshi bowling his penultimate over of his spell. In the pick of the bowlers so far for Nepal. In this slanted approach he has to the crease. Down the track comes Guj. I think he's hit the gap here. Yes, he has. And it's Bim Sharkey out in the deep who does some nimble work.
Hitting it with the into the breeze. Didn't really quite get hold of it. It was a bit of a clothy sort of toe sound.
Now he's targeting the cow corner area. And Raj Banshi again continuing to prove hard to put away. Kushal Patel out here at long on, I reckon knows he's in the game here, with Jersey batters looking to up the ante. But again, Raj Banshi holds his line and length. The support he's getting from his skipper Rohit at cover, he's very impressed with his left arm spinner.
If there was one area of maybe a little bit of a critical observation, is that maybe they've just allowed the left arm spin to be bowled to them. I would love to see a little bit more aggression coming out, using the crease a little bit more, trying to attack the left arm spinner into out to trying to hit the vacant sort of over extra cover region, trying to hit the deep fielders a bit more often. At the moment we've seen a lot of balls that have gone into short cover, backward point, gone back to the bowler playing straight. Maybe look to manoeuvre that a little bit more.
As that ends the 35th, 159 for 1. Just building on your point there, Kaz. How challenging is it for a spin bowler when these players of spin can pull out the sweep, pull out the reverse sweep, and it feels like that shot might be what's missing from that spell of Raj Banshi from the batter's perspective.
Yeah, we haven't seen enough creativity against spin. And I think not express is looking to bowl more line and length, but there's some width on offer there, and he just crashed into that.
Here he goes again, but this time deep point has been brought round. Bim Sharkey doing the work out there. We saw a lot of Nepal boundaries on Monday go through backward they have maintained deep point.
A man on point. We've got a guy really behind Kushal, who's sort of in between, sort of deep backward, if you like. And then you've got a point who's also behind, trying to cut out that boundary option. I would love to see a guy on point and a guy deep backward, just to sort of cut that option out. The half chances are coming in, and they're not hitting them along the ground. They're aerial shots, so they are half chances. Beautiful shot.
More punching off the back foot. Bim Shark is a lot of work out there. He falls slightly awkwardly, but does some terrific work out there in the deep. Prevents the boundary. So now, as we approach the end of this first innings, with the bowlers likely to come back on and bowl some pace, we do have Sandeep Lamachani doing some warming up. What would you love to see, especially the pace bowlers, when Jersey start coming at them? What do you want to see both the fielding side do plan-wise, and what do you want the pace bowlers to start doing?
I'm actually crying out for some variation.
Yeah,
I would love to see on this pitch. I'm pretty sure the Jersey boys will do